What's up guys, my name is Ace, and this week's aftermarket part in Modern Warfare 3 is the brand new JAK Outlaw Kit for the BAS-B, and this turns it into a one-shot kill lever action rifle. So today I'm going to be doing a deep breakdown of the stats of this. I'm actually going to be comparing it to the sniper rifles in this game rather than other battle rifles, since this does perform much more like a sniper rifle than a battle rifle. And then toward the end of the video, I'm going to share a few attachment setups I managed to put together that are extremely good with this gun. Now, just a quick note, yes, I am playing against bots in the background. That's simply because I'm on a bit of a time crunch today. I don't have a ton of time, and really the content of this video is the information, not the gameplay. So with that out of the way, let's dive into the breakdown here, and let's start it off with one of the most important stats. This is our one-shot kill zones and ranges. And as we can see here, this is clearly designed to be used in more close quarter situations. We can only get a one-shot kill to the body in the maximum damage range, which by default is 17.8 meters. And in that range, it's going to be a one-shot kill anywhere to the upper torso or arms, all the way down to the hand, and then of course the neck and the head. Whereas beyond that, it's going to be a one-shot kill to the neck or head out to 55.9 meters, and at that point, anything beyond 55.9 meters, it's actually not going to be a one-shot kill even to the head. It'll be a two-shot kill anywhere in the body. So you definitely don't want to be stretching out that far, but generally speaking, you really want to try to keep yourself within that 17.8 meter range. Now, interestingly, I also wanted to bring up the bullet velocity because when you put this kit on, we actually see a ridiculous boost to our bullet velocity up to 1185 meters per second, which means this should feel essentially like hit scan within any practical range that you find on these 6v6 maps in this game. So that's pretty cool, but like I said, this is still best suited to those close quarters engagements where that bullet velocity literally just doesn't matter. But circling back to ranges, let's compare this to the sniper rifles in the game, since that's what this is most comparable to. It's clearly got the worst one-shot kill potential out of all of them. So even the longbow, it is worse than that when it comes to that one-shot kill potential to the body. Although it is worth noting, compared to the base longbow, we actually have a better one-shot kill potential when we're talking about body multipliers, since with the longbow, shooting them in the forearm or hand, that will be a two-shot kill. So that's the ranges and the one-hit kill zones, and as important as that is, it's not everything. So let's move on to the next section, which is rate of fire. And again, just like with bolt-action rifles, the rate of fire that's stated in the menus, this doesn't actually align with the rate of fire that you experience in the game, which I measured to be 143 rounds per minute. And that's very interesting because this is actually faster than the semi-auto sniper rifle, which is the KV inhibitor. This is very noticeably faster than even the longbow. And like the longbow, we have an amazing magazine capacity for a one-shot kill weapon at 20 rounds. So at least for an aggressive sniping playstyle, it's looking really good for the JAK Outlaw. And that's especially true when we get into our handling stats. Our aim down sight time by default, without any other attachments, is 300 milliseconds. And when we compare that to the sniper rifle average, that's 590 milliseconds. So this is significantly faster than all of them. Our sprint out time is also quite good compared to sniper rifles in this game at 252 milliseconds, although with this one, it is worth noting this is where the longbow will beat out the JAK Outlaw Kit because it has a sprint out time of just 200 milliseconds by default. After that, let's have a quick look at Hipfire, and we actually get improved Hipfire when we put the kit on this, and compared to the battle rifle average, our maximum Hipfire spread is noticeably better, whereas the minimum is just average, although this is still very, very good for a sniper rifle. After that, another thing that makes this gun stand out significantly over the sniper rifles in this game is our flinch resistance. While it's technically slightly worse than the base BAS-B, it's still in a completely different category compared to the sniper rifles in this game at just 0.17 newtons. Which means, especially if you're keeping yourself in that maximum damage range for a one-shot kill, flinch is basically just a non-factor with this gun. And this leads me to the last really important factor I want to talk about relative to the sniper rifles in this game, and this is something I brought up with the longbow. This is the fact that controller players get regular aim assist with this, meaning we have aim assist slowdown and rotation when in hipfire, whereas the normal sniper rifles outside of the longbow get no aim assist whatsoever until you're aimed down sight. And then when you are aimed down sight, that aim assist strength is very noticeably better on this compared to the other sniper rifles. It's the same as the longbow, and that means for controller players, especially up close and personal with a lot of movement, it's going to be a lot easier to hit your shots with this compared to the regular sniper rifles in the game. So with all of that out of the way, I do want to share my initial impressions of this, keeping in mind like this just came out. We still need to get it in the hands of the community and get some playtime with it, but as of right now, just looking at the stats and my little bit of playtime with it, I think this kit is going to be a big problem, especially on the small map playlist. Now, if we are playing on the regular size maps, like medium to large maps, I don't think this would be nearly as much of a problem because you really have to make sure that you're playing the situations right. It is a bit of a high risk, high reward as well, so if you miss your shot, you're in trouble. And if you find yourself in a gunfight beyond 17.8 meters, you may also find yourself in a lot of trouble. But on the small map playlists, you're almost always within 17.8 meters. And for those that thought the longbow was a problem on the small map playlists, I think this one is going to be even worse. And honestly, on top of that, I also consider this to be the best shotgun in the entire game. For any gunfight within 17.8 meters, I would rather have this in my hands than most of the shotguns in this game. And so at least at this point, I do think this gun is a problem, and it's definitely going to need some nerfs at some point in the not too distant future. I think we're about to see a whole lot of complaints popping up around it. But of course, those are just my opinions, and now let's get into some attachment combinations I threw together for you guys. And there's actually quite a few different ways to build this, but I'm going to start this off with my balanced build, which with this one has the Bruin Venom long barrel. And the nice thing about this one is it boosts our one-shot upper torso range to 21.3 meters, so we're squeezing a bit more distance out of that, which is nice to see, and it doesn't harm our aim down sight speed, which is great. We're using the DR6 handstop for better handling, the Mark III reflector optic, just because I really like having that pinpoint optic on there, and then finally the sawed-off stock mod combined with the Outlaw kit itself. And with this one, we get a really good aim down sight speed for a one-shot kill weapon at 232 milliseconds. That's far better than you can do with any longbow build. Our sprint out time is 222 milliseconds, which is pretty good. You probably want to avoid getting caught in attack sprint with this one though, since that will slow your ability to get an accurate shot off on target. Like I said, our one-shot upper torso range is boosted, and our bullet velocity is also boosted, although that's completely unnecessary for how you should be using this gun. And that's the first option where I feel I balance things quite nicely there. However, we can get even faster, so that brings me to my second build I want to share for you guys for if you want to be hyper aggressive. And with this one, we're using the light 9-inch Bruin Wyvern barrel, the DR6 handstop, the FSS OLEV laser, which is only visible when aiming down sight, but it will be visible when you aim down sight. And again, we're using the sawed-off mod on this combined with the kit. And with this build, our aim down sight speed is now just over 200 milliseconds, which is insanely fast. Our sprint out time is also very fast, nicely improved, definitely better than the previous build. Our one-shot kill range is untouched with this, and same thing with our bullet velocity. And this one is just going to be excellent if you're playing on the small map playlist and want to be as fast and snappy as possible. However, I do have one last build I want to share for you guys that I also think is going to be quite popular, and many people will like this one. This is my Hipfire and tack stance build. So with this, we're using the S37C DL breacher device, the Bruin Bastion angle grip, the 1 milliwatt laser box, which is not a visible laser, and again, that sawed-off stock. And with this one, while our aim down sight speed is noticeably slower at 302 milliseconds, that's okay because we're using it in tack stance, which doesn't take up that whole aim down sight time. Our sprint out time is very fast with this, not quite as fast as the previous one, but still solid at 214 milliseconds. Our one-shot kill range is untouched, and most importantly with all of this, we've got a very good hipfire spread, so you don't even need to aim down sight in a lot of situations if you get right up close and personal. And then when you do aim down sight, or go into tack stance, we'll say, we get a super tight tack stance spread, which should ensure that you still get very consistent one-shot kills to the upper torso within that maximum damage range. As long as you're keeping your ranges in check, this tack stance spread should be more than enough for consistent one-shot kills. And with that, that's finally going to wrap it up for today's video on the new JAK Outlaw Kit for the BAS-B. And of course, this is where I'm curious to hear from you guys in those comments down below. Based on what you've seen so far with this gun, how are you feeling about it? Do you think it is completely overpowered and definitely needs some nerfs? Or do you think it's just fine as is? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.